began with an old crumpled flyer I found tucked into the pages of a second-hand book. The faded ink read, "The Specter's Carnival, one night only. See wonders beyond your wildest dreams." The image of a Ferris wheel, its lights glimmering in a dark forest, drew me in. I had heard of the Specter's Carnival before, an urban legend of a travelling fairground that vanished without a trace in 1935. My friends thought it was nonsense, but I couldn't shake the feeling that there was something more. That night, as the wind howled outside my window, I made my decision. I had to find it. I wasn't entirely sure where to start, but a cryptic note on the back of the flyer pointed to an old forest on the outskirts of town. Armed with a flashlight, my phone, and a backpack, I drove out to the edge of Eldridge Hollow. The forest was dense and uninviting, the trees casting shadows that seemed to move as I passed. My GPS glitched the moment I stepped out of the car, leaving me with nothing but my instincts and the faint sound of carnival music drifting through the trees. I followed it, heart pounding with equal parts excitement and fear. After what felt like hours of wandering, I saw it, the outline of a Ferris wheel rising above the treetops. The music grew louder, and the smell of popcorn and candy apples filled the air. It was as if I had stepped back in time. The fairground was eerily intact, though it showed signs of decay. Rides stood frozen, their once vibrant colours faded and rusted. A carousel creaked as it slowly turned, though no one was there to power it. I felt a chill crawl up my spine, but I pressed on, drawn by an inexplicable force. As I entered the grounds, lights flickered on, and the music shifted to a lively tune. Booths and games seemed to spring to life, though there wasn't a soul in sight. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe some eccentric millionaire had restored the place as an elaborate prank. But the longer I stayed, the less it made sense. I heard faint laughter, the kind that's almost too perfect, too rehearsed. Then, a voice called out, "Welcome, traveller. We've been waiting for you." I froze, the voice echoing from nowhere and everywhere at once. A tall figure emerged from the shadows, a man in a tattered top hat and a blood-red coat. His face was pale, almost waxen, with a smile that never reached his eyes. "I am the ringmaster," he said, bowing low. "Welcome to the Specter's Carnival, where the show never ends and the thrills never fade." His words were like honey laced with venom, sweet, yet unsettling. "What's the catch?" I asked, trying to sound braver than I felt. His grin widened. "No catch, just play the games, enjoy the rides, and make a choice." He gestured toward the nearest booth, where a row of stuffed animals hung in eerie stillness. The game was simple. Knock down the bottles to win a prize. I picked up a ball, its surface oddly warm, and threw it with all my might. The bottles toppled over, and the ringmaster clapped. "Well done," he said, handing me a stuffed rabbit with hollow, glassy eyes. "But every prize comes with a price," he whispered, and suddenly, the rabbit twitched. I dropped it, but it clung to my hand, its stitched mouth curling into a sinister smile. Shaken, I stumbled away, only to find myself in front of a maze of mirrors. The entrance shimmered with an unnatural glow, and I hesitated. "Go on," the ringmaster urged. "Face yourself." I stepped inside, and the world shifted. My reflection wasn't my own. It was older, gaunt, with hollow eyes that stared back at me. The mirrors whispered my fears and regrets, each one cutting deeper than the last. I tried to leave, but the exit was gone. Panic set in as I realized the maze wasn't just reflecting me, it was consuming me. When I finally escaped the maze, I found myself near the carousel. The painted horses looked lifelike, their eyes almost pleading. As I approached, the carousel began to spin, faster and faster, the music warping into a sinister melody. "Ride with us," a voice whispered. Against my better judgment, I climbed onto a horse. The moment I did, the world blurred. I saw visions of children laughing, then screaming, as they vanished into the ride. When it stopped, I felt drained, as if a part of me had been left behind. The Ferris wheel loomed ahead, its lights blinking erratically. The ringmaster appeared again, his grin sharper than before. "Care for a ride?" he asked. Something in his tone suggested it wasn't a question. I climbed into a creaky cart, and the wheel groaned to life. As it ascended, I saw the carnival from above, but it wasn't the same. The rides moved on their own, shadowy figures danced in the distance, and the forest surrounding it seemed alive, closing in. At the top, the cart stopped, and the ringmaster's voice echoed, "Do you want to leave? Or do you want to stay forever?" I was paralyzed with fear. "What do you mean?" I asked, my voice trembling. The ringmaster appeared beside me, though the cart hadn't moved. "Every visitor must choose. Stay and become part of the carnival, or leave and forget everything, at a cost." I wanted to run, but my body felt rooted to the spot. "Choose wisely," he said, his tone almost mocking. Below, the carnival lights flickered, and the faint laughter of unseen performers filled the air. I knew deep down that neither choice would end well. I took a deep breath and tried to think. "What happens if I leave?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. The ringmaster leaned closer, his breath cold against my neck. "You'll forget this place," he said, "but you'll also lose something you hold dear, forever." He stepped back, giving me space to decide. My mind raced. There had to be another way. I scanned the carnival below, searching for an exit. The paths twisted unnaturally, leading back to the same central point. The Ferris wheel groaned as it descended, and I knew my time was running out. When the cart reached the ground, I bolted from the Ferris wheel, ignoring the ringmaster's taunts. As I ran, I noticed the prizes from the game scattered across the ground. Stuffed animals, trinkets, and dolls, all moving in grotesque ways. They whispered in voices that sounded eerily human, pleading for help. "We were like you," one of them hissed. "We made the wrong choice." My heart pounded as I realized the truth. The prizes weren't just cursed. They were the souls of those who had stayed behind, forever bound to the carnival. I stumbled into the tunnel of shadows, hoping it might lead to an exit. The air inside was thick and oppressive, and the walls seemed to pulse with a dark energy. Shapes moved in the shadows, whispering my name. The further I went, the louder the whispers became, until they were a deafening roar. "Turn back!" a voice screamed, but I pushed forward. Suddenly, I felt a hand grab my arm. I spun around, but no one was there. The tunnel ended abruptly, depositing me back into the carnival's main square. Standing in the square, I noticed the performers for the first time. They moved like marionettes, their faces frozen in masks of joy and despair. One of them, a juggler, dropped his pins and turned to me. "Help us," he mouthed, his voice a faint echo in my mind. Before I could respond, the ringmaster appeared, clapping his hands. "Enough games," he said, his voice cold. "It's time for the grand finale." The performers froze, their heads snapping toward me in unison. My blood ran cold as I realized I was the center of their attention. The ringmaster led me to the big top, its striped tent towering above the rest of the carnival. Inside, the atmosphere was suffocating, the air filled with the scent of decay. The audience was made up of shadowy figures, their faces obscured. "Tonight's act is one of courage, wit, and sacrifice," the ringmaster announced. A spotlight fell on me, and I shielded my eyes. "Perform or perish," he whispered, his grin widening. I had no idea what he meant, but I knew one thing. I wasn't going to play his game. Desperation took hold, and I did the only thing I could think of. I challenged the ringmaster. "What if I beat you at your own game?" I asked, trying to sound confident. He chuckled darkly. "And what would you wager?" he asked, his eyes glinting. I hesitated, then said, "If I win, you let me and the others go. If I lose, you can keep me." The audience erupted in laughter, and the ringmaster's grin widened. "Very well," he said, "but remember, no one has ever won." The ringmaster led me to a circular arena where shadows danced unnaturally. "The rules are simple," he said. "Survive until dawn." He vanished, and the shadows closed in. They weren't just illusions, they were alive, and they wanted me. Armed with nothing but a flickering flashlight, I fought to keep them at bay. The hours dragged on, each second feeling like an eternity. The shadows whispered my fears, my regrets, and my secrets, trying to break me. But I held on, fueled by the thought of freedom. Just when I thought I couldn't go on, the first rays of dawn pierced through the arena. The shadows recoiled, and the ringmaster appeared, his face twisted in fury. "You cheated," he hissed. "No one wins." But as the light grew stronger, the carnival began to dissolve. The performers dropped their masks, revealing faces full of relief and gratitude. The rides crumbled, and the music faded into silence. The ringmaster's form wavered, his power draining with the rising sun. "This isn't over," he snarled before vanishing into the ether. When the carnival disappeared, I found myself back in the forest, the morning light filtering through the trees. My phone buzzed with missed calls and messages as if no time had passed. I looked around, half expecting the carnival to reappear, but it was gone. The flyer in my pocket crumbled to dust as I pulled it out. I wasn't sure what had happened, if it was real, a dream, or something in between. But I knew one thing. I would never forget the Specter's carnival and the souls I left behind. If you've ever heard whispers of strange places like the Specter's carnival, heed my warning, some doors should remain closed. Urban legends may seem like harmless stories, but they often hide truths we're not meant to uncover. And if you enjoyed this chilling tale, don't forget to subscribe to Eerie Tales for more haunting stories that will keep you up at night. Hit the like button if this story gave you chills, and let us know in the comments. Would you have taken the risk to escape or stayed to uncover the carnival's secrets?